Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Kevin Schrader. I'm the Technology Evangelist for Zend Technologies. And what we're going to do today is take a look at the new deployment feature that we have in the Zend Server 5.5 beta. So I'm going to start from a blank slate here. I'm going to create a new Zend framework project. I'm going to call it Hello World and click on Finish. This will be just a basic project that we'll just use for demonstration here. We'll go to our local host here, and we see that it's up and running. So we have our basic application here, and we're pretty much ready to go. We got our application, docs, library, public, and tests all set up and ready to go in there. Now what we want to do is we want to make our application deployable. So we'll go to a command line here, and there's a new program in the Zend Server directory called Zend Pack. The first thing we're going to do is call Zend Pack create hello world. What this will do is it will create a skeleton of the deployment structure that we're looking to have in our application. So we see that the deployment files were created. We'll go back to our project here and refresh. You can have this separate from your project, or you can have it included in your project as we have here. Either way is fine. But we see two new directories created, one called data and one called scripts. The scripts contains the individual hooks that you can hook into for the deployment mechanism. But before we take a look at that, we're going to look at this file deployment.xml, because this is where your application deployment specifications are actually defined. We have a name, we have a summary, and we have a description. We can state the version of the application that's running. We can also state the end user license agreement if we want. I'll just open that. It's a text file. So I'll go to the Zend framework license and copy that and paste that into the license.txt file. I'll go to my deployment file here again, and we're going to change a couple of things in here. First of all, the application directory. We're going to change that because the application directory is the root of the individual application that we're trying to run, and that's not going to be in the data directory. It's going to be the hello world directory, and so I'm just going to delete that. But I also need to specify the document root. The document root is the public directory here. So I'll just go in here, type in public, and that way the public directory will be seen as the proper document root for the application. We can also set individual dependencies for our application. We can state the PHP version that's required, any extensions that are required, as well as any directives that need to be set or within minimum and maximum bounds of the application. We also have the ability to set individual parameters for our application. For example, a database connection host name. These are all things that you can set there. We'll leave these for now, but you can play with those kind of at your leisure. We'll save this. And the next thing we need to do now is we need to actually create our deployment package. So I'll go back to my command line, and I'll type Zend Pack with the command pack. And I'm going to be creating a new package for hello world. I'll hit enter, and it'll take all the files in there and put them into a zip file that follows a specific format that the deployment mechanism is looking for. So I'll go back to my browser, go to my production box. In this GUI, we have a new tab called Applications, and we have a button here called Deploy Application. So I'll click on that, and I will browse for the packaged application. And I'm going to specify this hello world.zpk. ZPK is the Zend Pack file format. We'll open that, click on Next. We can set the installation details. We can set the name, the virtual host that it's on, and the path within that virtual host. We'll leave those as is for now. Click on Next. We have our end user license agreement. Click on Next again. We have our prerequisites validation, checking to see that the PHP version is what we're expecting. That our PHP extensions are set, and that the PHP directives that we're looking for are also set according to the bounds that we have provided. We'll click on Next, and then we have the user parameters that we specified. So in this case, I'll just specify the host name. Click on Next again, and then click on Done. And this is going to then deploy that application. If we go back to our production environment here, we hit refresh, and we see the Zend framework application is now up and running on our production environment. Now we have our application deployed. We might then want to update it. So for example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into one of the individual hooks here, and I'm going to specify in the PostActivate hook that I want to have a script run. The script I'm going to run is just one that simply sends an email out telling me that a new deployment has been made. But in this script hook, we have the ability to retrieve various environment variables that has some meta information about the deployment package. For example, the web server type, the PHP version, application base directory, or here's the one that I'm interested in, the current application version. So I'll take this script and paste it in there. It's just basically a Zend mail script. I send the mail, send the to, set the subject, and then what I do is I take the ZS current app version from the environment and put it into the current app version variable, and then I inject that into my body text, and then I call mail send. So we've defined our PostActivate hook. I'm going to go back to my deployment mechanism and up the release version, save, go back to my command line, rerun Zend Pack, and then go back to the Zend server and click on update in our UI. We go browse for the application deployment file, click on next, make sure that everything is still where it is that we expect it to be. You'll note that in the user parameters that the values that we provided beforehand are already available in here. So I'll just click on next and then click on done. The application then goes through the deployment process, and we also see now in the Gmail account that the new deployment email was actually sent out, seeing that the new application has been deployed with the version 0.1.1. So we have our application up and running, and if we want to remove it from our production environment, we simply click on remove, and at this point the application is gone from our system, and we go back to our Zend Framework app, reload, and we're back to the test page. So that's it. That's a quick run through on how you can use the new Zend Server 5.5 deployment feature. It's currently in beta, and we invite you to take a look at it, play with it, and see what you think.